Rahubat Hau. This is Ro again. This week is full of confusion, emotional manipulation, market shakeups, and just overall crazy shit. Would I tell you that you need to have your head on straight and mind your own business this week? It ain't no joke. This week may prove to be off-putting and a balancing act between your emotions and a collective's emotions of unmatched proportions. It may be hard, there may be social pressure, there may be challenging moments, but this is where you step up to the plate because you are built better than Ford tough. You are built Elohim tough. So let's get to it!
Cookie cutter pie, fuck a pan. 3D printer Glock, couple band. Disappear, see it in my hand. Legal shooter, make them overstand. Half court, full court, state court, magistrate court, beat the light. Nigga, who is you? Cause I forgot hit the booth and I go cool, cock a ride.
Transit breakdown. September 14th. Last week was a doozy, huh? If you watched my last video last week, I told y'all Wednesday, September 10th was going to be crazy. It was in the stars. Now today, as the moon moves through Gemini, it comes into a third quarter square with the sun in Virgo. This is the final phase of a 4-part series of Virgo season. This is when we are now reaping what we sowed and clearing the fields, getting ready for the next moon cycle. This next week period will be intense as the new moon will be at 29 degrees in Virgo, and it will be a partial solar eclipse. Man, if you thought last week was crazy, you haven't seen anything yet, I'm telling you. Later on in the day, Mercury pulls out ahead of the sun. This is our brain processing logic and data faster than what our consciousness will be aware of. You may experience yourself thinking about something and thinking it will come true. However, you don't really see any evidence of it. And slowly but surely, the information needed to be aware of the thoughts come out, and now you can see what it was you were sensing. This will be occurring for a few weeks until Mercury goes retrograde on November 10th of this year. Sagittarius, if I'm not mistaken. In the afternoon, Neptune moves from 1 degree of Aries to 0 degrees. 0 degrees is the purest form of the sign. Aries is the warrior, the impatient one, the baby of the zodiac. Neptune is the friend who allows you to do whatever you want and cheers you on even while you are killing yourself because it believes in you and wants to see you happy. So you can imagine that this can be a dangerous combination. All right. Be wary of people, places, things, and even your own brain from loving you into self-destruction. In the evening, Venus in Leo comes into a sextile with Mars in Libra, and it's still 12th house to the sun. This is a feisty and bold love in harmony with the desire to assert the balance of the political sphere. The love itself is not able to be seen as it is in the 12th house to the sun, but it will be felt, okay? Lord knows we can use some love with everything happening on the world. Do your best to send out that love into the world. If not physically, at least pray it into the world. Send positive vibrations to the world because let me tell you, in my opinion, the end of this year is not to be pretty for most, okay? But it will be amazing for others. You want to be on the side where the milk and honey will be flowing. Lastly, the moon also squares Mercury, causing the population to emote the truth and challenge the data and information coming from the news and media. I'm writing this on September 11th, so I don't know what it will be about. However, I think it will be about Mr. Kirk, immigration, the markets, or another mass event that occurs similar in magnitude as Mr. Kirk. Hotep Eli Antuten. September 15th. Early in the AM, the moon enters Cancer and creates a quincunx with Pluto in Aquarius. This is the psychic emotions of the population in crisis mode with the manipulative transformation of humanity. The public is going to be emoting their grievances of their feelings because of the problem stemming from an unconventional fear dealing with how they are being treated and their fellow man is being treated. I think this immigration issue is going to start to, if it hasn't already, explode out of proportion, and the collective is not going to have it, and it's going to be heard and felt. The population will not stand for their legacy to be shitted on by a tyrannical force of evil. Be careful out there, y'all. In the afternoon, Venus and Leo will be semi-sextile with Mercury and Virgo, and Mercury will be semi-sextile with Mars and Libra. Okay, now this is very interesting. So, a semi-sextile is not an easy angle to deal with, as it represents a disconnection or misalignment. It's almost as if our hearts are not in sync with how we want to speak, and our thoughts are not in cohesion with our desire for social connection. It's like we will be taking action on something, but won't be able to communicate the logic on how we will get it done. We will just be doing something because it feels right if we have a burning desire to do it, which does not make it right. It just makes us loud and proud with no rational reason for anything we are doing. Please think before you speak or act today. And this week, really. Don't just act on impulse. It does not seem like a good day for that. Or week, really. September 16th. Early in the AM, we have Mercury semi-sextile Mars and Venus semi-sextile Mercury again, but this time at 26 degrees, a Taurus degree. And all planets are in a quincunx opposition or a trine to Chiron, respectfully. Plus, the moon is on Jupiter at the same time, okay? Now, talk about talking cash money shit to purposefully cause massive emotional pain, okay? Please don't be that person who is purposefully hurting people simply because you are feeling it, okay? It may feel like the right thing to do, and you may be fired up and feeling bold and courageous, but please take a chill pill. Don't be a part of the crowd who is causing and contributing to the pain. We need to come together right now as humans. That's very important, man. I'm trying to tell you. Not be separated, all right? The topic of discussion will probably have to do with the feeling of wealth disparity, or with the allocations of resources, or with politicians and how they are being lobbied to in that insider trading. Or maybe even how individuals who are harsh in a financial situation rebel against the system. Something like that. Today just seems like a day of ridiculous financial type of news. So I'll tell you, what's even crazier about this transit happening today is that it is the start of the FOMC meeting with the Federal Reserve to see what they are going to do about the interest rates. The actual decision is said to not come out until tomorrow. However, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a surprise rate cut or even a larger cut than normal of whatever, because of whatever situation is happening in the news, okay? For these financial degrees to be occurring, 26 degrees is a Taurus degree, on one of the biggest financial days of the year, it does not seem to be a coincidence to me at all. I think it's going to be a very, very larger than life day, especially with finance. I'm trying to tell you, especially because at the very end of the day, the moon squares Chiron in Aries, causing even more emotional financial trauma to come out. On the flip side, there could be emotional healing about financial matters for some. It really depends on your chart. I would not be surprised if it comes from Asia or from the Middle East. It could even be involving a spike in crude oil as Cancer, the moon, Saturn, and Pisces can represent crude oil, and Saturn and Pisces and the moon and Cancer are in a loose trine with each other right after all of these financial angles. We shall see. September 17th. So the day starts with Venus and the moon in a semi-sextile, and Venus and Mercury still in the semi-sextile. If you saw my last two videos, you will see that there's so much misalignment energies in the sky, okay? It's just like we want to do something, but we don't know how to do it or why we're even doing it. We don't know how to communicate the data we are processing from the news. I can see the news just going bananas this week. Remember, I write these videos a week in advance, so I don't really know what's going to happen. However, these configurations are consistently discombobulated on a daily basis. It seems like we don't know which way is up and which way is down for like a week or so. Excuse me. When we wake up in the AM, Mercury in Virgo is opposed Saturn in Pisces. This is the solidification of our disillusionment, trying to balance with the communication of our perfectionist tendencies based on the data we have been accumulating. We think we know it all, we think we have all the answers, but remember, the solidification of being delusion is a permanence of disappointment because we now can see that what we believe to be true is not. Even though we thought we were perfect with how we communicated our logic, but logic is not truth. Truth is truth. We are speaking on something that we think is logical, but our awareness of that logic has not caught up to what we think is correct. Please mind your words and actions today and all this week. Simultaneously, while all this is happening, the moon in Leo is in opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, okay? This is the harvest of the revolutionary transformation we activated 2 weeks ago. What did you activate on or around September 4th? Whatever that was for you it is now time to pick your harvest. It's time to reap what you sowed. And with all this confusion in the air, I hope you sowed something good. It could prove useful. Okay. September 18th. Early in the AM, Mercury moves into Libra and immediately comes to opposition with Neptune in Aries. This to me seems like political news trying to come to terms with how many individuals are finding joy in causing themselves and even their fellow man pain. You can't help but think that this is the beginning of a particular event that involves alternative ways of protecting oneself. I can see some new laws coming out in the news that will really rub people the wrong way. Potentially about people's individual liberties as human beings being threatened or under the guise of unity. For some reason, I'm thinking it's going to be towards the LGBTQ immigrants and others who are being attacked in the media. I hope I'm wrong about this because that will start an uprising that we haven't seen since 1861, which no one wants to see because that would be dangerous. For real. Later in the day, Venus and Leo, King conquers Saturn and Pisces. This is a crisis between what our hearts want and why we want structures we believe should be implemented. It's almost like the collective wants the laws that are being proposed because it helps with the beliefs based upon circumstances that have been playing out over some time. But our hearts are like, it's not right for this to happen, but it needs to happen because if not, then all hell breaks loose. I do think there are some people who will try to make all hell break loose purposefully because that's their character. Ooh, excuse me. Watermelon. Get you some. Please keep your cool today and don't beat yourself up about a decision you made that you truly believe is the best thing to do, not only for yourself, but for the collective. Lastly, the Sun in Virgo, King conquers Chiron in Aries. This sheds light to the trauma that disenfranchised individuals are facing. Which should be why we take the action that we don't want to take, because we can now see how those actions are causing harm to others. But the flip side of this is that those who want to see the pain dig deeper into the pain purposefully to start a riot amongst the population to incite an event like 1861. I pray that not to be the case. However, looking at the history of Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, the odds are not looking too good for 1861 to not reappear at this current moment in time space. We shall see though, especially because of what's happening in the news with Charlie Kirk. Amen. I don't know. September 19th. We wake up and the moon and Venus are both conjunct on the fixed star regulars at 29 degrees of Leo. Now they say that the fixed star regulars in 2012 to 2013 shifted to 0 degrees Virgo because of the precession of the equinoxes, and we'll talk about it in a different video. With that being said, the moon-Venus conjunction actually moves into 0 degrees of Virgo simultaneously. It's almost like this conjunction holds the energy from 29 degrees of Leo to 0 degrees of Virgo. Interesting. Now, what is Regulus? Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation of Leo. At its best, it represents honor and amazing good fortune. At its worst, it represents disaster and destruction. I'm hoping for the former. However, judging from how the energy seems to be over the past few days, I think it will be more negative leaning because there has been so much confusion in the air, especially from last week. I think that this is where all hell actually breaks loose. I think this is the beginning of a disaster and the emotional destruction of the system, especially since the moon and Venus both move into Virgo simultaneously. And as they move into Virgo, they also square Uranus in Gemini. This causes a sudden integration of speaking the truth of our emotions in a over perfectionist type of way. I wanted to say that if this holds true, the destruction of the system is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing, and we can choose how it affects us by the work we put in. In a couple of days, the new moon solar eclipse occurs at 29 degrees of Virgo. It's like in with the new, out with the old. All this energy at the end of signs and at the beginning of other signs. Plus, the moon Venus ingress into Virgo makes a quincunx with Pluto in Aquarius, causing an emotional and systematic value transformation of how we intellectualize humanitarianism. The moon and Venus in Virgo also create a quincunx with Neptune in Aries, bringing a fog over the collective that causes the population to not know who they are as an individual. These two quincunxes with the moon and Venus in Virgo create a yod, aka the finger of God. Okay? This is where I think people start to begin to see how fucked they really are and what position they put themselves in because they refuse to change their ways over the years. They refuse to do shadow work. They refuse to treat their neighbor how they want to be treated. They refuse to treat women with love and kindness. They refuse to treat men with respect and dignity. They refuse to stop listening to music that did nothing but perpetuate hate, deception, lust, envy, and sexual deviancy, etc., etc. I truly think this is where all the shit that has been accumulating crumbles. and now there's nothing left for them but a shell because there was never any substance to begin with. For those who did the work, congratulations. This is where all that work over the year pays off. It does not mean you did everything right, though. It means that you continue to do the work even though you made mistakes. You fell, you got back up, tried again, you became better because of this. And it shows. While everyone else is panicking because their life is built on a lie, it's crumbling before their eyes. Your life is starting to shine because you did the works. Okay? You know someone by their works and the fruit of their labor, not by this. Mm-mm. With that being said, those who did the work need to watch their backs as envy, jealousy, and hate will infect the NPCs, and they will look at you because you're glowing. Be careful out here and take the necessary emotional, spiritual, and physical precautions to make sure you and yours are safe. Safe. September 20th. Today, the moon moves through Virgo and conjuncts the south node in Virgo at 17 degrees, a Leo degree. This is the acceptance of our fate. This is the release of nurturing narcissistic emotions. This is the initiation of the crumbling of our ostentatious society as we know it. This is where the system and the market reaches a critical mass and is now at a point to where practically it can let go of what no longer serves Mother Gaia. Oh man. Especially since the sun in Virgo is now in opposition with Saturn Pisces. I just thought of something crazy. We'll go over that in the video. Where we are now aware of how we have been disillusioned from our logic and where we are now reaping what we sowed from back on March 12, 2025. You planted a belief back then, acted upon it, and created a whole new version of you based on that belief. And now it's time to reap what you sowed. Because tomorrow, the solar eclipse is the beginning of a new system and market structure logically presenting itself and causing profound change to how we ground our gut feelings socially and think critically. Oh man. Oh man. This solar eclipse is nothing to play with. It will play out over the next 6 months. And by the new moon in Pisces on March 19, 2026, you will see how this is truly the new world order. The world we once knew is not transforming, it's already gone. Worldwide, Western cultures has changed the landscape of the psychology of the people. The patriarchy has caused irrefutable damage to the youth and the future of life on this planet. People don't want to be married. Women and men are out of their minds with how they carry themselves. Children offing parents, parents graping kids, and all the while, the planet around us is crumbling and we're too distracted because of the latest craze on social media. What is coming is revolutionary. It's unconventional. And to be honest, I do not think it's a matriarchy or a patriarchy. I also don't think either one of them is the answer for what is going on. I think it's something that we don't currently have a word for yet. Something that is hidden to us all and will be revealed to us in due time. As far as the solar eclipse, we will talk about that in the next video, because that's a doozy. Until then, join my Discord by clicking the link below in my bio. And if you're on TikTok or Instagram, if you're on YouTube, click the link in the description below. Energy themes of the week. It seems like there's some confusion in the air this week. Okay, some crisis in the air this week. The financial markets seem to be also at an interesting position astrologically, which is actually, coincidentally, landing on the same day as the FOMC meeting with the Federal Reserve. If you don't know what the FOMC meeting is, you need to look that up. Seriously. Look at the Federal Reserve, Jekyll Island, all that stuff. I think this week will pop off something huge, okay? Pay attention to the things that you are being directed to look at and then try to see the forest behind the trees. Now, rising signs, you already know. Aries to Pisces. Aries, the moon North Node conjunction occurs in your 6th house. I want to make sure that you are being intentional about how you are serving yourself and other people this week. I want you to be critically detailed about your physical health. Heal your gut, as your gut feelings will prove to be of use this week. Eat more fresh vegetables and fruits. Allow the colon time to heal. This week is especially important for you because this emotional fated event is going to require you to use your gut-to-brain connection. And if your gut is inflamed, then you will not be able to properly listen to and feel what your gut is telling you, okay? As Taurus is your 2nd house and Cancer is your 4th, this may also include money from family or the value of your legacy. Maybe even a Taurus woman shows up to help with something, who knows? You won't be able to miss it when it happens, all right? Taurus, what do you do routinely for fun? There seems to be a need for responsibility with your pleasure activities. This could be centered traveling for fun, or maybe being on a motorcycle or a skateboard or a bicycle. Maybe you take the trains for fun across the country to see the scenery, whatever it is that you do. Seems like there's a breakaway from certain activities and or an increase in the efficiency of and practicality of those activities. You will know it when the event occurs. Whatever it is that you know you should be doing, just make sure to do it. To be honest, as this transit involves the moon and its nodes, you may not have control over what really occurs. I don't think anybody will. Allow the release or change in practicality to occur. I know you take time to make changes, just make sure to allow room for better to come in, okay? Gemini, it seems as if someone or something from home is going to surprise you with something. It could be more responsibility at home. It could be some finances that you didn't know you had or needed. It could be a Virgo woman, especially if it's a mom or grandmother, is a Virgo sun sign, showing up in a dream and giving you a message from the ancestral realm or something. This can play out in many different ways, of course. The similar theme is something involving money or the value of family, mixed with a motherly figure releasing critical, practical, or responsible tasks to you to suit an agenda, right? Be on the lookout for an event that is a combination of those 3 energies, okay? You won't be able to miss it. You won't. No one's gonna miss it. Cancer. As the moon rules your sign, this fated event will hold more weight for you. You may get in an unexpected car breakdown or a Virgo neighbor or sibling coming to relay a message. It could be you finding out that some information you learned is not completely logical or practical. This event can occur through social media, the news, radio, television, emails, faxes, etc. The focus is on communication and potentially communicating your desire to be an individual to the masses. Whatever it is that you hear or say, make sure that you take responsibility for it and speak tactfully within a grounded nature. With Jupiter in your sign, it's easier for you to not think straight and experience anxiety or emotional overload. So be aware of that. Leo, I'm expecting some money that you didn't know was there, either coming or going. I'm leaning more towards going because the South Node represents releasing and not excess. This may have something to do with the self-worth / financial situation that you had last week. They may be connected somehow, right? I do think that this is going to be for the better, though, as it may seem off at first. However, with Venus about to go through Virgo to smooth and beautify everything up, it seems that there will be an increase. But before the increase, there must be a detox of the old habits. Let me know how it turns out for you, Leo. Virgo, man, you already know what time it is. This is occurring in your sign. There's so much energy in Virgo right now. It's ridiculous. Your view of yourself as an individual is changing and changing rapidly. I know you feel it. Your dress has changed. The way that you speak to yourself changes. The way you assert yourself has changed. The way the world views you has changed. So this is a lot of change, okay? This event that takes place is an event that really sets off the solar eclipse in your sign, to me personally. Make sure to rest, okay? I know that there's a lot going on in your life right now, and it seems as if you are being tugged in every which way, but you need to let your body heal itself and process all of this energy. It's been like this for a whole month for you, give or take a week or so, right? Please take time to rest. Please. I'm talking to myself, this is I'm talking to y'all. Libra, this event that occurs, you will not see coming, okay? You're going to be sitting in your car one day, minding your business, and you get a surprise phone call, or you'll be scrolling on social media and come across a video that completely changes how you subconsciously process metaphysical phenomena. As Cancer rules your 10th house, it is possible that this could be something involving your career or your status in the world. Maybe you get a well-deserved and needed acknowledgement. Maybe it's a shout out from a famous influencer, and now you have more attention on your business. One thing's for sure, two things for certain, you will not see it coming. It will come out of left field. You won't be able to miss it when it does happen though. Scorpio, your friend group has been shifting and changing excessively recently, okay? You probably can now see certain individuals in your friend group sabotaging the group behind the scenes, or maybe in front of the scenes. But you never thought that this person would do that. So now your whole philosophy about how you feel about how you create systems around your friend groups with no discrimination, okay? Everyone can get these hands. This is, of course, a very specific example, obviously, right? And this will play out differently for everyone. But the main thing and point is to pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. Seriously. Sagittarius. Saggy. My Saggy. Your career, your job seems to be in a crossfire. How you feel about your chosen vocation is about to change extremely. If you are an engineer, maybe you become a baker. Or if you're an Uber driver, maybe you become an influencer. These are just examples, of course, right? But the point is, the dichotomy between the professions is wide, large, strong. The shift will be drastic and real. It doesn't even mean you will change vocations, but maybe your role in that vocation will change. If you don't know what vocation means, it means like job, your career, right? This may feel like the date of a gallon of milk you had in the fridge is not just expired, it's decades overdue. This can feel very strange and confusing. Keep a positive frame of mind and just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep. Capricorn. Your thought process around how the world works and why the world works has changed and is continuing to do so practically yet drastically. Maybe you're enrolled in the self-proclaimed college of higher education, learning from the school of hard knocks and majoring in psychological warfare and relationships. Maybe your faith and religious identity is crumbling and it scares the living daylights out of you. Or maybe it feels liberating to finally release the chains that organized religions has given us. Maybe a teacher or mentor is coming to you for advice, excuse me, or is being critical on how you have not been living to your fullest potential and you feel defeated. Your sense of justice can even be changing. Of course, this can play out in many ways, just like everybody else, and it depends on the individual's chart. I think it may help to write out your thoughts on paper or speak them into a voice note. These thoughts can be instrumental in your future education when you replay them. Aquarius. The death of an intimate partnership, the practical transformation of an investment, the mutation and purging of responsibility from others' people's values. This transit may be hard, Aquarius. It may bring forth the deepest parts of you to the surface and force you to see yourself for what you are. Just know that this is occurring for you to change it and become better. It's been in the shadows. It's been laying down in the abyss of your dark energy, and now it's time for it to be released. Okay? I would not suggest to detach from this place. Okay? Don't detach from this feeling or event that happened. Okay? Detaching will not only not heal, but it will make it worse for you, because now you know it's there and you know that you chose to look away. Okay, so now you will be lying to yourself. Allow it to come up and transmute that energy into something useful. You got this, Aquarius. Pisces. I already know your relationships, business, romantic, and platonic, have been shifting and changing so much. Okay, it's like this friend leaves my orbit. My girlfriend not only left me, but she left me disrespectfully. This decade-long business partner is now dissolving. This decade-long business partnership is now dissolving because of a simple difference of opinion. It may seem like a surgical removal of a detailed or a detailed cleansing of those who are around you. With Saturn now in your sign, you have changed yourself as an individual and assert yourself and have drastically changed in the eyes of other people. You may not think you have changed, but others do. And that has nothing to do with you, because it doesn't even mean that you did anything wrong. You are just living your life. How you interact and balance your originality with negotiating with others is forever changing, okay? Allow it to. You don't have to please everybody, okay? In conclusion, this week is this week is confusing as hell, y'all, okay? It's chock full of twists and turns. The plan is put us in the middle of a maze and say, find your way back to the center. As we are in the middle of an eclipse threshold from the full moon to the new moon, this week is ridiculously challenging. But if we pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, we will know that this is just a bump in the road to greatness. You got this. Click the link down below or in my bio to join the Transmission Tribe Discord. You can also see me on HaloReadings.net to get your own reading today to see how this affects you personally. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. All the comments, all the shares, all the likes. I appreciate it. Follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. With that being said, peace out.
I forgot him and move and I go cool, cock a ride.